So there are questions that we need to ask about the chipping biometric chips by Yale in the state of Connecticut, because there are people who are chipped and they're moving out of the state because it's a continuous torture. So listen to what this lady is saying. It's vitally important. It's actually
one way or another. There are other people that they pay to stalk and harass you by vehicle, and they are the ones who usually get the gift cards for a stint. They might have a 4 hour stint of following you around and trying to hit you with weapons as you drive or as you go to the doctor or something like that. So that's what they
4 hour
call
stint.
investigating. A second type of attack on you, they are employing gases and poisons that the military industrial complex wants to find out how they work on certain people. Are you white female? What does this poison do to you? Are you black male? What does this poison do to you? Are you oriental? What does this gas do to you? So the fusion centers, which are always desperate for money, and of course they are adding people onto the watch list to make it appear there are many more threats than there are, for the sake of money and for the sake of continuing their careers, that basically it's creating a police state when we don't need one. You know, I'm sorry, but there aren't that many terrorists. There just aren't. I mean, in almost 20 years, they haven't stopped any terrorist attack that was planned. They haven't
It's
found
not
any
exactly
terrorist
true.
attack that was planned.
Not
So
true.
now they're throwing you and me onto the terrorist watch list to create a threat that's simply not there,
True.
so they can garner almost billions, maybe billions of dollars, for the 80 and growing number of fusion centers all around the country.
80.
Another thing that they will do is if you have an opportunistic operation, they could go in there and insert medical chips that they want to find out what they can do.
We're
Some of these
collecting
medical chips, well,
photographs.
everybody gets chipped one way or the other with a GPS, so they can find you anywhere that you go. So there's nowhere to hide. They can find you in a building. They can find you in a crowd. They know when you're traveling. It's really horrific. And then to get those chips out, if you can find them, is thousands of dollars, because it's a voluntary operation, so it's not covered, and it becomes extremely expensive to take them out one by one. If you can get a doctor who hasn't been threatened and told you're not going to
The
take that chip
doctors will
out,
not
that's
take them
federal
out.
business, and you're not going to touch it or you're going to lose your license. So they will go and bully people to not help you. If there's a policeman who tries to help you, he'll be told by his supervisor, stay out of it or lose your career. And of course, the upper echelon police and sheriff department people know to not interfere. In fact, one of the duty officers of a sheriff's department near me showed me,
Let me just show you a business card from Norwalk. This guy can't help me. And there are more.
listened to my story, and he took me out to his car in the parking lot, and he opened up the trunk, and he showed me a handful of manila folders that may have numbered 12 to 20. And those were folders that he said the Fusion Center told them, these are people you cannot help. You're not allowed to give them equal protection under the law. These are people we are secretly investigating.
That is what the state police of Connecticut say. And I will drag them one by one into the federal court, put them on the stand, and cross examine them just like I did to Norwalk detective. What's his name? He retired. Oh, geez. The run-ins we've had with Norwalk detectives started with Thomas Cummings, pedophile. Lamb, Maloney, that's the guy. Bill Maloney had an 8-year investigation. I put him on the stand. He had no recollection. We talked with Vitarbo, Schramm, O'Connor, both internal affairs officers, Kaholic, who retired recently, and we're going to have to go that route, folks, with others in the near future. But Stanford, same thing. Multiple detectives, check fraud, financial crimes, and they allowed lawyers to cash stolen checks in Stanford, claimed to be people's attorneys after they cashed stolen checks, and when confronted in court in Stanford, the attorneys claimed that the stolen money was protected by the attorney-client privilege, including the records. So here we go. No judge wants to fight against organized crime, though there are 2 people coming forward right now in law enforcement who are blowing the damn whistle. So we'll see what happens there. But unlikely sources, I might add.
But it's not going to be on any roll anywhere. There's nobody who can get a lawyer to subpoena these records because they're in the trunk of the duty officer's car. And
let's just
when we
wrap
get a
this
subpoena,
up
we
here.
don't say, hey, you didn't put the trunk of my car.
We've given 60 subpoenas out in the gang stalking Connecticut case of 5G. 6-0. Not a single defendant has produced a single record. So what's going to happen here is either the judge is bought. Hi, Mr. Meyer. And he's going to play their game, or he's going to play our game. And I haven't disclosed what our true objective is, so he probably has no idea. So what I want to say is, I'm just going to wrap this video up. This is the 3rd section of this woman's tape that we are talking about. And this way I can have her introduce the idea and me talk about our specific relatable moments that right now we have, I think, 1,100 people complaining, or we're in touch with 1,100. Got to take this call. So thank you. Talk to you soon.